The NBA is a global league. 43 countries have produced players who made it to the biggest stage in basketball. Almost 12,000 players have been drafted. But from a nation of over 1.4 billion people, making up 17.3% of the entire planet's population, only one man has ever crossed that line. His name is Satnam Singh, and his story is one of dreams, sacrifice, heartbreak, and rebirth. For India, basketball was never more than a distant thought. The best players in the country weren't professionals. They had to work other jobs just to put food on the table. The infrastructure was thin, the opportunities rare, and the culture itself discouraged chasing basketball as a career. In a country where cricket reigns as king, basketball was barely even a whisper. And so, despite its massive population, India never produced a single NBA player. Until Satnam Singh. He came from a small village in Punjab, a farming community with only 8,000 people. Born into a family of farmers, his destiny was supposed to be set in stone, to work the fields, maintain the land, and eventually inherit the responsibility of feeding his family through hard labor. School was secondary. Dreams were irrelevant, but fate has a way of breaking through expectations. From a young age, Satnam was different. At just 10 years old, he was already 6'6". His father was 7'2". His grandmother nearly 7 feet herself. Height ran in his bloodline, and soon people began whispering to his father that the boy should try basketball. At first, Satnam didn't even know what that was. He thought he was signing up for volleyball, but then something clicked. The first time he touched a basketball, something in him lit up. The game felt like it belonged to him. He was awkward, raw, but powerful. And when he decided to pursue it, the support from his family followed. His first coach didn't hesitate. This boy, he said, was born to play basketball. At just 10 years old, Satnam left home to train full-time at one of the few basketball academies in India. It wasn't glamorous. The facilities were poor. The court had holes in the roof. Summers were brutal, sweat pouring from his body as he struggled to breathe in the suffocating heat. He hated it. He missed home, his family, the comfort of farm life, and for a time he wanted to quit. But Satnam stayed. Somewhere deep inside, he knew this was his chance. Still, the reality of Indian basketball couldn't be ignored. There were no organized tournaments, no real pathways to professional opportunities. Forget the NBA. No Indian player had ever even played in the NCAA. But just when it seemed hopeless, the NBA itself came knocking. In 2010, the league launched an initiative to grow basketball in India, sending Troy Justice to lead the operation. His mission? Find talent and nurture it. When Troy stepped off the train in Punjab and walked into the Ludhiana Academy, the first boy he saw was Satnam Singh. A towering figure even at 14, listed at 6'7" but looking like a grown man among children. Justice couldn't believe his age. 14? Impossible. Yet it was true. Satnam's size was jaw-dropping, but there was a catch. He couldn't even find proper shoes. His feet were size 19, far too big for anything available in India. He had to play in slippers, stumbling across the court, unable to run. Justice immediately called home to secure proper basketball shoes. When Satnam laced them up for the first time, everything changed. His dominance was immediate. His confidence exploded. His state team won a national championship. Word of his talent spread. Soon, the legendary IMG Academy in Florida came calling. Known for shaping raw projects into elite athletes, IMG had developed names like Zach Edey and Olivier Rioux. Satnam, standing out as a giant prodigy, was a dream prospect. Offered a scholarship, he made the leap of faith, leaving India, his family, and everything he knew for the United States. But his new life was not easy. Satnam arrived in America barely speaking a word of English. He couldn't understand his teachers. He couldn't talk to teammates. He was isolated, frustrated, and alone. Training was also overwhelming. He expected to spend his days on the court. Instead, he was pushed into weight rooms, conditioning drills, and endless repetitions designed to build his body from the ground up. Layups he once finished with ease back home suddenly felt foreign. His confidence wavered. Freshman and sophomore years were rough. Playing junior varsity, he averaged under 5 points a game in limited minutes. For a boy carrying the dreams of a billion people, the weight felt unbearable. But Satnam refused to quit. He represented India at the FIBA Asia Championships in 2011, becoming the youngest player ever on the national team. His stats were modest, but his pride soared. He was showing progress. Back at IMG, he threw himself into his studies. He learned English. He began communicating. He connected with teammates, listened to coaches, and slowly, the game returned to him. The hard work showed. He became known for his discipline, his respect for coaches, his hunger to learn, and on the court, his tools sharpened. A strong low-post presence, unselfish with the ball, soft touch on his hook shots, and vision to pass out of double teams. He wasn't just tall, he was skilled. In 2015, Satnam Singh entered the NBA draft. He wasn't even invited to the combine at first, but his agent used connections to get him in. Scouts from Chicago, Utah, Portland, Indiana, Houston, and Dallas watched closely. Some saw a project. Others saw raw potential. But all of them knew this. Satnam Singh represented more than just himself. He carried the hope of India. Draft night came. Pick after pick, his name wasn't called. Hope dwindled. With each selection, the dream slipped further away. By the late second round, only 2 teams remained interested, Washington and Dallas. The Wizards passed. At pick 52, the Dallas Mavericks made history. With the 52nd pick in the 2015 NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Satnam Singh from Punjab, India. The impossible had happened. The boy from a farm who left home at 10, who played in slippers because he couldn't find shoes, who struggled through language barriers and heartbreak, was now the first Indian player ever drafted into the NBA. Back home, he was hailed as a hero. India's Yao Ming, a living legend. His face was everywhere. His name was etched in history. But the fairy tale soon hit reality. Satnam never played a single NBA game. He spent 2 years in the G League, struggling to adapt to the speed of the professional level. His stats were underwhelming. Scouts lost patience. The NBA moved on. By 2017, his contract wasn't renewed. He bounced to Canada's Pro League, then back to the Indian national team. His best games came in World Cup qualifiers, where he finally showed flashes of dominance, scoring 18 points against Syria and a career-high 20 against Jordan. For a moment, the dream flickered alive, but then it all collapsed. Satnam was handed a 2-year doping ban. He denied intentional wrongdoing, but the damage was done. His career, already fragile, was over. But Satnam Singh's story doesn't end in tragedy, because he found a second act. In 2021, he transitioned into professional wrestling, joining All Elite Wrestling. Once again, the giant from India stood under bright lights. This time, he wasn't fighting for rebounds, but for entertainment glory. He became a viral sensation, even winning a tag team championship. At 30 years old, he reinvented himself, finding success in an entirely new world. Looking back, his NBA dream might not have worked out. But he broke barriers. He proved that talent could emerge from anywhere. And he inspired a generation of Indian kids to pick up a basketball, daring them to dream bigger than their circumstances. Satnam Singh may never have played a single NBA game, but his journey was never wasted. He made history. He carved his name in the books forever. From a farm in Punjab to the NBA draft stage in Brooklyn, to wrestling rings watched by millions. His story is one of resilience, sacrifice, and reinvention. And now the question lingers. Was Satnam Singh's career a story of missed opportunities, or was it destiny to inspire, to pioneer?